GameMasters here, and today we are going to put the dragons into Dungeons & Dragons. What we have is a quick rundown of Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, the newest book for Dungeons & Dragons. This book comes in two forms. You have the collector's version and a standard cover version. Now, first off, who exactly is Fizban? Well, I really want to concentrate on the book itself, so I'm going to give just a brief overview of who he is. Fizban goes back to Dragonlance. He was kind of the Elminster, if you will, of Forgotten Realms, but in the Dragonlance realm of Krynn. This is what he looks like here. He's a little bit... Well, okay, listen, it's a fairly major twist, so I'm not really going to give that away, but I do like to give out the disclaimer that is in the book, and it's right here, and it reads, "No guarantee is made that this book was or was not removed from the hoard of a dragon. Be aware that items taken from a dragon's hoard might carry traces of a dragon's inherent magic even long after they are removed from said hoard. Exposure to another dragon's hoard can reawaken the magic, with unpredictable results." Now, the third thing is, this book introduces the gem dragons, amethyst, topaz, moonstone, ruby, sapphire, and emerald, just to name a few. It is broken down into 6 chapters. Chapter 1 introduces the Draconic-themed options, 3 variant Dragonborn races, 2 dragon-oriented sub-races, feats, and suggestions on how to connect any of the characters' classes to that specific Draconic theme. Chapter 2 brings on magic, as it's, of course, related to dragons, with new spells, magic items, and Draconic gifts. Chapter 3 provides tips, advice, and loads of tables to assist the Dungeon Master as they populate their campaign with dragons. Chapter 4 talks about Draconic Lairs, their Hoards, providing explanations as to how each dragon is attached to its hoard, and it also kind of describes a new way to populate that dragon's hoard with goodies. Chapter 5... It goes into pretty good detail about the 20 different draconic creatures, and provides information for the Dungeon Master to help craft specific personalities and dragon-themed adventures. And then Chapter 6 gives stat blocks and lore on the new dragons. Now, I'll go into deeper detail and post additional videos throughout the week, but what I want to do today is take a quick dip into each of the chapters, 1 through 6, and provide a brief overview. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a like and tell everyone about my channel. I'd love to continue to bring you more videos, and I humbly thank you and appreciate you for checking out GameMasters. Chapter 1 talks about the new Dragonborn races. You have the Chromatic, you have the Gem Dragonborn, and you have the Metallic. As the name implies, these are Dragonborn that have connections to those specific dragon-type creatures, each one getting traits according to their ancestry. The subclass options are for Monk, Way of the Ascendant Dragon. The overall thought is that they are mimicking a dragon, and because of that, the monk can get a closer connection to its corresponding line and will become more in tune with that dragon's abilities and magic. The other subclass option is for a ranger, the Drake Warden. In essence, their connection to the world takes on the form of a draconic spirit, which can manifest into a physical form. There are 3 feats, each taking on the form of a gift of the specified dragon race, chromatic, metallic, gem. Chapter 2, as we mentioned, talks about magic and magic items. One of the new spells is Arstalon Stride. It's a 3rd level spell that causes flames to blast from your feet and kind of gives you an extra boost of speed. And one of the new magic items is the Dragon Wing Bow. This is a magic bow that resembles dragon wings and is infused with dragon's breath. When you successfully hit, the target will take an extra 1d6 damage based on the infusion type. One of the cool things is if you don't load ammunition into the bow, it creates its own. Chapter 3, as we talked about previously, has lots of tables, loads of tables, tips and advice for dungeon masters. We can randomly roll for a dragon's mannerisms, personalities, flaws, bonds, etc. And it gives you a nice table to randomly determine a dragon's name, mannerisms, etc. And also provides goals for said dragon based on their age. Think of something along the lines of when they're young, they want to establish a lair. And as an ancient dragon, they may want to ascend to godhood. However, the most exciting thing for me to run across in Chapter 3 is the discussion of a dragon becoming a Dracolich. But that is for another video. Chapter 4 takes us deep into the Dragon's Hoard and talks about all the possibilities of what treasure can be found within. Of course, a Dragon's Hoard will contain many mundane items, as well as gold and precious gems, but it is also ripe for the plunder when it comes to magic items. Dragons don't exactly care about what the magic item can actually do, but they do thrive on the fact that it contains magic power and, of course, the dragon's memories, as to how they came about being the owner of each item in their hoard. Chapter 5, aptly referred to as the Draconomicon, I'm butchering that, but it gives an overview of each of the dragon types, as well as adventure hooks and other good bits of information. One of the specific dragon types it talks about is the blue dragon. And here's a spoiler. There's a quote by Fizban that reads, "If I weren't so platinum, I'd be blue." Not as in sad or down, quite the opposite. I'd be delighted to be a blue dragon if I weren't a platinum one. Well, once you get this book, all will be revealed about the true nature of Fizban. But back to the blue dragon. This section describes how to create one from its personality to its ideals. It also provides adventure hooks on the blue dragon, as well as a sample blue dragon lair map. Chapter 6 is the Bestiary, going into detail about the newest dragon type, gem dragons, as well as other dragon type creatures. The amethyst dragon is the first in this section, so we're going to kind of explore him a little bit. It details what he'll do when he's in his lair, right here, and provides a pretty massive stat block from young to ancient, or ancient adult to young. And it also has a stat block for the amethyst dragon wormling. So there's one more. That I would like to show you guys. And that is the Dragon Blood Ooze. Okay, so imagine someone has taken parts of a slain dragon, used their scales to make armor or perhaps a shield. Well, alchemists also dabble in taking a major part of the dragon and trying to craft it into something meaningful, and that would be the dragon's blood. Only when that experiment fails, you get a large monstrosity called Dragon Blood Ooze. Now, this is a pretty fitting creature for Halloween, as this ooze kind of remembers what it's like to be a dragon and tries to shape itself into its former draconic form, and will even attempt to manifest its breath weapon, only when it spits that out, it's kind of spitting its own blood, which just kind of falls flat and then slowly gets reabsorbed back into the main blob. And if you think about it, how gross that is, that's why I mentioned it's pretty fitting for Halloween. Now, here's a question for you. How do you think the gem dragons, the amethyst, ruby, moonstone, sapphire, those guys, how do you think they were created? Let me know your thoughts on their creation below. And I'd also like to invite you to stay tuned to this channel over the next few days, as I'll post more videos about Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, and I'll go into a lot more depth and detail over the contents within. Until next time, may your scales stay shiny. Game on.